Hi everybody and welcome back to my basement once again. Today I'm gonna try making a drone out of wood. And to do that I need to put my laser safety goggles on because I'm gonna be using a laser cutter for the first time. This is the Falcon 2 Pro from Creality. They sent it for review, and what better project if not making a drone frame with it. But first, a little bit of backstory on why I do think this is not as bad as it sounds. You see, I have this dream of creating the perfect drone for me, and maybe it's gonna be also good for other pilots. So over the years I have been toying with design, trying some stuff, but I have faced a problem. Traditionally, drones are made of carbon fiber, which is a super stiff material, yet super lightweight, so it's perfect for things that have to fly and don't have to break. The issue is, this piece you see in my hand is $100. It's very expensive, and when I do have to try many iterations of the same design, this becomes very expensive. So what I did is I grabbed my 3D printed loaded carbon fiber filament and tried printing. For sure you can check the fitments of part with a 3D printed frame, and you can't really fly a drone like this because it's gonna shake to death. And that's where wood may be the answer, especially this composite wood is very similar in a way to carbon fiber. Wood strands glued together. It's gonna be light and stiff, not as much as carbon fiber, but maybe it's gonna create a prototype able to fly. So, let's try. But before I cut the frame, let's talk about the machine. This is the Falcon 2 Pro from Creality, which many of you will recognize as the creators of the legendary Ender 3 3D printer. They started making laser cutters, and this is the top of the line model. It's a very powerful prosumer, UV diode, cutter and engraver. This being a ultraviolet laser, you have a limited selection of materials you can cut. Usually anything non-transparent and non-reflective will work. It comes in 3 different diode power levels. You can choose the one with 22 watts, with 40 watts, or the most powerful with 60 watts. The higher you go in power, the bigger the laser dot becomes. So it becomes a little bit worse at engraving, you're gonna have a bigger spot. I have the 40 watt model, and when you get this or the 60 watt, you also get a complementary 1.6 watt engraver, which is gonna be super precise, so you can draw really thin lines. The machine comes super well packaged and protected. Everything is in the box, including all the tools you need, all the USB cables, USB dongles, and also you're gonna have to assemble it. It's gonna take half an hour, 40 minutes. It's gonna be super easy if you are familiar with IKEA. They have full color pictures in the manual, and really it's easy. You just have to assemble the top compartment, which is made of this flexible protective film that's gonna protect your eyes from the laser radiation, so you don't even need the goggles, most likely. The machine build is super industrial. It's all made of metal, including these rails. This is the gantry inside. The working area is 400 by 415 for the 22 and the 40 watt model. The 60 watt model is 400 by 400 because it has a bigger module. On the bottom you have these aluminum baffles that help disperse the rays. You can also get an optional honeycomb grill. When you cut, little debris may fall on the bottom. To recover it, you can open this aluminum tray so you can clean it up from the debris. You also have magnetic switches to protect your eyesight, because the machine will only activate when everything is closed. And you also have an emergency stop if something goes south. To reset it, you have to turn it. The power brick is quite chunky. It goes here on the side of the machine where you have the power switch, again power, USB out, and a TF card reader. Here you have your controls. You can step the laser or press and it goes home. Then you have frame. When you have something selected, the machine will cycle to show you the area it's gonna cut in, and you have a start and stop button. This key at the top is an extra safety switch. It's gonna turn off and turn on the machine, so no one can operate without the key. This switch is the toggle for the internal LEDs, and at the top you have the USB out for the camera you have here on the bottom. This camera is one of the best features of this machine because it's gonna help you tremendously when you wanna frame something on what you wanna cut. On the other side, you have the air pump interface. This is the inlet, power output, and knob for adjusting the speed of the air. This is the air pump, which is suspended so it doesn't vibrate much. You see it has little rubber feet and it's nice. I wish it was integrated into the design somehow instead of having something hanging loose from the side, but it does its job. You can see that the air comes inside the machine and comes out of the laser diode. This helps disperse the smoke and also keeping the lens clean. This one is the toggle for the extraction fan. This is gonna extract the smoke. I routed it behind there so I don't get immediately smoked. Usually you need to put this out of a window or in an air purifier. You have another hole for the camera USB port because you can decide what side to put the extraction fan. This is the laser module. You have a couple of knobs on the side so you can adjust each side and also remove it. If you need to swap it, it's very easy. Just disconnect the power and just slot in the new module and plug it instead of the other one. You will need to focus the laser with this wedge they give you. Depending on what you have to do, you have to select one of these. If you have to engrave, you have to put it at the highest thickness from the material. If you have to cut something very, very thick, you need to put it at the minimum distance, like this. The laser module has 3 different safety sensors. One checks if the air is coming in, one checks if there is fire on the material you are cutting, is gonna stop, and the other checks if the lens is dirty or not. If it's dirty, it's gonna damage it, so it's gonna stop. This is super nice. On the top you have a USB plug for updating the firmware, and also this button toggles between modes. You can have it at full power or at limited power, so it becomes a little bit more precise because it shuts off some of the diodes inside. This is for engraving. As you can see, there is no screen on the machine itself. So how do you cut? You can use either a TF card with the TF card reader, but you're kinda have to guess what's gonna happen. Yes, the machine head will start tracing what is gonna cut, but it's kind of a guesswork. My favorite solution is using a laptop, because you have to use a software anyways, so just connect the 2 cables to the laptop. One is gonna control the machine and one is simply connected to the camera up top. And software is actually the thing that took me the most time to set it up correctly, because it's not made by Creality and it's not as intuitive as the 3D printer slicers I was used to. This was my first time with a laser cutter, and really you have 2 options with software. You either go laser Gerbil or Lightburn. Laser Gerbil is super primitive, it doesn't interface with the camera, but it's free. Lightburn is paid, it interfaces with the camera, but it's gonna take a little bit more time if you wanna use this function, because you need to calibrate everything. Really, you have to start by placing this calibration card in all of the corners of the machine. Then it's gonna engrave a big pattern onto some materials, you're gonna provide it. I used a piece of cardboard so you can actually align the camera with the module. I got it working super precise after a couple of attempts, and I'm super satisfied with it now. It took me around an afternoon. I'm gonna warn you, it's not the most straightforward thing ever, but luckily they provide a ton of tutorials and download links in the TF card. And finally, it's time to cut my drone. I already did a test with this kind of 3mm basswood they provided with the cutter. It's super lightweight, but it's actually super fragile and brittle. So I'm gonna use this material to make the top plate and the camera mounts. And for the base plate, I went to the hardware store and I bought 4mm, 6mm and 8mm MDF panels, which are gonna be a little bit heavier but a lot more resistant. I'm gonna start with the 4mm, which is gonna mimic the carbon. If it's not stiff enough, I'm gonna use the 6mm. I have now control of everything. I can send him home, and let's update the camera overlay. So you can see this is the cutting area displayed in the main section of the software. I have loaded the top plate design and the camera mount. I'm gonna have to duplicate this. Okay, let's put them around here. So we use the least amount of material possible. And as you can see, using the camera is super convenient because it gives you a way of optimizing where you're gonna cut and not waste material. In order to cut, you need to select everything you wanna cut. So I select everything, come here to the cut layers, double click, and here we're gonna give it 10 millimeters per second at 100% power. This should be enough. Also, you can generate some tabs so the little pieces don't fall into the tray on the bottom, because sometimes they can angle themselves, the machine passes on them and ruins the pieces. So I'm gonna generate a little bit of tabs, and finally it should work. Let's go. Please. Yes, it's cutting. And boom, we have it perfectly cut. It has little tabs holding it together so the pieces don't go anywhere. You can see it's very easy to actually remove them. Now we just need the bottom plate to complete the frame. The frame is ready, it's perfectly cut, so let's try breaking the tabs. So it comes out and it's gonna require a little bit of polishing. And boom, my hands are a little bit charred, but it looks a lot more similar to carbon fiber. Maybe this is the 4mm thickness. I'm gonna try and cut the 6mm. It's gonna be a little bit stiffer, but this I feel like is gonna fly fine already. And also I want to take this opportunity to show you the engraving feature. Let's place it quite straight on the working area. Every time you have to do something precise, remember to auto home the laser module so it starts from 0, otherwise it's not gonna be precise. Look the position, start. And boom, it's perfect. Perfectly where I put it. Also, if maybe you want it a little bit better, you can do it again. If you have not touched the piece, it's gonna do the exact same movement. It's super precise. And you see now the line is a little bit more black. I can do it even again. And now it's perfect. And boom, everything fits perfectly, the camera housing is super solid, and actually the frame doesn't feel too far off from carbon. It's not gonna be the same durability, but probably it's gonna fly. I don't know about vibrations, it's finally assembled, I have yet to fly, but I'm super excited. It's 135 grams, which is incredibly light. Usually drones like these are 170, 180, so we are way lower than that. And I didn't even believe wood was lighter than carbon. Maybe it's just this design being super lightweight. And the best thing is that we have all 6S electronics into it. The motors are big, 1604 2850 kV, and a 40 amps all-in-one F4 flight controller that still supports 6S. So that's the battery I'm gonna fly. I put these 3.5 inches propellers, tri-blades with 3.5 screw ratio, so they are super torquey. I want to create a crazy fast machine. I fear it may bend a little bit while accelerating, but that's why we are testing stuff. And finally, let's test it. I'm gonna use this 550 milliamps 6S battery. It's super small, 100 grams. Paired with this drone, we are at 235 grams. So it's super light. You can even put bigger batteries in it. Please work. Oh! It's too lightweight, the P is too high, and the drone just shoot in the sky. Well, that was anticlimactic. An arm kind of broke. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue. Let's try again. I reduce the master multiplier a little. I guess I have to cut a new frame. Boom, it's rebuilt. Let's lower the master multiplier a little bit so it doesn't shoot up in the sky. Let's do 0.65 to be safe. I don't wanna destroy it anymore. Maybe like this. I don't know. Am I eyeballing it? Please work. Okay. You know what? It seems to be flying. It's a little bit wobbly. I hit a rock before and I have a little dot on the 04 lens, which is a shame because I sacrificed a very good 04. Look at the corner. It's very, very, very efficient, it seems like. Grandma is happy the drone works. She's been seeing me all the day, but she's not happy I'm flying close to her. And I feel like she's right. Okay, should we push it? Please work, please don't break. Okay, let me go on. Oh my god, these mosquitoes. You know what? If it's flying maybe better than most drones I have tested on this channel. It's a little bit wobbly on the low end, but I have not tuned this at all. I just lowered the master multiplier. It's a 6S wooden 3.5-inch drone. It's pulling like crazy. It's efficient. Oh my god, are you seeing this? Man, I have to make this drone out of carbon. This frame design seems to be very, very well balanced. It's a... Oh, freak! Okay, I'm happy. I'm happy. We have another casualty, but man, I am so impressed by the way it was flying. I absolutely have to keep testing this design because it's super promising. I like this idea of a 3.5-inch 6S rocket that's super light. You can also use 4S batteries if you want to cruise. So let me know what you think about this idea. Let me know how to keep going on and test, because I'm thinking about starting selling something like this. For sure I need to find some better wood, because this is basically compacted cardboard. That's why it breaks so easily. It's a miracle it was flying. And also let me know what you think about the Falcon 2 Pro laser cutter from Creality. I feel like it's a good entry point if you want something very powerful, full of features, but really not as expensive as those CO2 laser cutters. I just wish that Creality made also their own software for the laser cutter to make things a little bit more seamless. Still, the software I found, once you learn it, is full of features, it works, but it takes a little bit to learn it. It's a little bit daunting at beginning. And as always, remember to like, subscribe and comment on this video. If you want to buy something, check out the links in the description down below, because clicking on them, you help my channel a lot. Stay safe and happy making drones out of wood with a laser cutter. Bye!